everybody, it's Pastor Mark here with another edition of Armored Up. Hey, before we get started today, hey, you can always get with us. Check us out on the web at connectchurchbigrapids.org. You can find our Armored Up videos there. You can find, there's a donation tab if you want to donate to the church. There's also, we have our bulletins there as well. So anyway, connectchurchbigrapids.org. Hey, all right, so last week we've been going through, I've been kind of doing this little series thing for the last few weeks. You know, we did, in the Gospel of Luke chapter 15, we did the parable of the lost sheep, the parable of the lost coin. The two cool things with that is the sheep and the coin, what do they have in common? They both have value. And then we went into the parable of the lost son, or the prodigal son as we know it. Very familiar scripture. And when we left off last week, I left you off in this area here. In verse 17 of chapter 15, the Gospel of Luke, says, "But when he came to himself, after he squandered all his living, he came to himself." He's at the bottom of the barrel. He has nowhere else to turn. He said, "How many of my father's hired servants have bread enough to spare? And I perish with hunger. I will arise and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants." So he's at the bottom of the barrel. He's got this thing. He came to himself. He knows he can't do this anymore. He knows he can't live this way anymore. He's feeding the swine. Looks like them, smells like them, and would even like to eat what they were eating. He was so hungry. So he gathered up this speech into his head, everything that he was going to say. And then in verse 20 it says this, "And he arose and he came to his father. But when he was still a great way off, his father saw him, had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him." The son didn't even get a word out of his mouth. This is the love of the Father that we have. We have a Father right now. If we have wandered and squandered our livings, can you imagine the way the scripture reads? It sounds like he was going out every night, looking off in the distance. And as he looked off in the distance this one night, he saw something, a silhouette. He knew it was his son. And he rejoiced. And he ran to him. The scripture says he ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said to his father, "I have sinned against heaven, and in your sight I am no longer worthy to be called your son." The love of the Father. Tune in next week for the conclusion of this story. This is Pastor Mark. Have a great day.